Awesome. All right, I guess we're back for another one. So this has been fun, and I'm glad we've been somewhat consistent so far. How does it feel to be back, and especially seeing there are a lot of people talking about the AI robot? I think you've seen that $50,000 robot. It looks pretty insane. I don't know how much it can do, but the fact that it can do somewhat of chores, that sounds good to me. I'm pretty bad with these things. So I feel like finally, one of the best use cases, human boring, very, very boring chores. What did you think about it?
It looks amazing. So maybe first time in human history we have this level of capabilities which could be deployed to your home, to your facilities, and it will perform as some family member, or I don't know how to identify this digital creature. Should we treat as a like some human or digital life or whatever else? But the way this start of the big industry, the big shift in paradigm of like intelligent assistance. So it can not only provide information, but can act immediately. Can be your like family member, basically.
Actually, it's a bit scary because like it knows a lot about you. It will probably know more about you than most people in your family. So it's
as a man, don't be thinking about
very
toothbrush.
intimate.
Put that shit in my mouth, nigga. Come on, bro.
Member.
Yeah, and from this point, I would say the bigger question could be raised. So, if these robots become more and more helpful and they will be part of our life, so how it would affect millions of people who actually doing such kind of job like housekeeping and then overall for other industries, right? So I heard some industries with some critical facilities like oil and gas, they considering to have fully automated platforms or fully automated sites which could be managed by some mechanical or electronical devices. I don't know how close they are right now to this type of automation, but in areas where human communications could be enhanced and automated, and some other processes where humans were involved heavily. So I believe that's a big topic, and ideally to today we would get some insights. So during our discussion, so what kind of groups will benefit from this? Of course, there will be some beneficiaries and some people who would not get any profit out of this how to say new era of the intelligence. So yeah, so let's start with our exploration.
Sure, yeah, sounds good. So I think it's just that there's going to come a time where you realize a lot of these things will be very expensive, and it's just going to matter. It's going to be a matter of questioning which one is cheaper, having human labor or these machines, especially on a like massive scale where you have a lot of operations going on.
But what to do to what kind of jobs humans need to be prepared? So how this will affect like overall global workforce? Because like a lot of people who was doing some manual like informational input of information. I know that, for example, some companies who are processing documents, they have like several hundreds of people who just reading the papers and basically filling the forms. And with this type of automation, those jobs, of course, could be affected. And this simple mechanical job. So if you would look at the positions like some kind of strategist, planning and whatever activities, this also could be affected because of the systems. They can make the job faster. They can kind of aggregate data more efficiently and with the proper approach, instead of the, like, let's say, performance of the single person will be increased drastically in a place when you had, like, let's say, 3 members in doing some strategies in a team. So you can have 1 person what to do with another 2. And this big question. So how to leverage their expertise and their knowledge.
Which exact job comes to your mind when it comes to the usage of such inventions? Who's going to be mostly affected within, like, if you can be more specific in terms of the role or the kind of job in mind.
So let's say for companies, we can go like industry by industry, right? So designers, right? Graphic designers who was like heavily involved in all processes, right? Right now could be to some extent they could be substituted by digital artists, let's call it this way. So some musicians, so we are not talking about like top level stars, but those who was writing some simple like audio fragments for different purposes, like such services as Suno can easily replace now these songwriters or composers, because of right now it very accessible, easy to create. So it will take you a few seconds and you create some interactive things for your digital content. You don't need to go and then deal anymore with humans at all. So for 3D modeling, 3D right now is on the way. We don't see like a lot of like I would say production ready components, but at the same time this like real case scenario when technology will be a little bit more mature in comparison with now, that will affect 3D modelers as well. The next category is video content creators. So right now we can see recently Coca-Cola, they released very funny, I would say, attempt to create digital ads. Of course, it's now controversial discussions in the network, but in the internet. But like anyway, so the big name.
Now that you mentioned this, I'm actually very curious. Like, how do you feel about it? Especially the Coca-Cola controversy.
I feel like everything new, it always somehow it's a little bit disruptive. It's not so smooth as I like usually happen, but I would say it's a good sign for the market. So to try experiment, I think it's like from the technology adoption perspective, it's nice. So at least people talk about this, and from marketing perspective, from recognition perspective, they achieved they've reached their goal. So as far as people talking about this, so the goal is achieved.
Yeah, so I have a perspective on the whole, like, having certain jobs disappear. First of all, like, I think you will notice a lot of people complain so much about the jobs that are going away, and people will protest, they will write about it, they will talk about how this is all bad and evil. But I think, again, like with any new technology that comes, to our culture, we'll always have this kind of reaction to it. And I don't know, I don't think we'll ever kind of run out of jobs. In some sense, we will just have the junior level of repetitive tasks go away. So even when we talk about coding, like if you're someone who's educated and you have maybe a degree and you're somewhat smart and sophisticated, I just don't see an excuse to why this kind of segment of people would complain about AI taking over jobs. If anyone has the right maybe to complain about this, it would be the people who have the repetitive, mundane, boring jobs with very little education. I think that segment would have more of a right to talk about the AI hype in a negative way rather than a positive one. So, yeah, I think when it comes to junior developers, people who just copy code from Stack Overflow, people who are just searching for quick shortcuts, I think that's what like, the AI agent is going to help you with. It's just those really junior level tasks when it comes to coding or when it comes to operations, documents, review, copy pasting.
And for if we talk about software development process, I think the coding skills is not a I would say definitive quality. So of course, coding skills they kind of indicate your readiness for the industry. But I would say the soft skills and ability to think about the problem broadly, about like to communicate efficiently, understand the business impact of your solution, to look at the system architecture holistically. That those skills are crucial. But overall success of the program will depend on how efficiently entire team will work, promote the value of the system, and communicate with all stakeholders. And also if it like refer to the previous level of technology. So let's see the early stage of computers and software developers. They were dealing with machine codes with like binary step-by-step operations, and then these levels of abstractions were getting like higher and higher and higher. We can think about existing level of tech, like a new level of abstraction. We just need to learn how to think in different terms, and in like more how to say from system perspective rather than with steps. So what kind of steps we need to perform to achieve something. Of course, those who has like both steps and system thinking, they will be more advanced on a market. But for the future, I think that those who don't know a lot about coding, they may be in more advanced position because they can spend now their time and focus on learning the skills of future rather than learning the skills of past.
Makes sense. So no, I agree, because it makes sense. So before you had people write assembly language code, which was very different, and then these kinds of languages evolved until you had maybe such a high level communication between the machine and the human that now you can just technically use. Like you could think of, let's say you had assembly languages and then maybe you have Python, and then maybe the advanced level of that is just pure speaking to the machine, which is like what, ChatGPT, where you say what you want. So if you have the system thinking, like you said, and you understand what the sequence of actions or steps should be, you can have, that's what would differentiate maybe the junior entry level maybe developer versus someone who's a software architect or a very senior level software engineer. So it makes sense. That's why I think, ironically enough, since code itself and the machine's execution is more binary and absolute and definitive, that's going to be determined by how well you think of the problem, how you want to approach solving it, and what are the factors you're considering while you're solving the problem. So it makes sense. And I think almost every single one of my friends who's an engineer, they are just relying on some AI to help them write the configurations, a baseline of what the code should look like. And the rest is just purely modifying the code to match the solution for the problem they're solving, no matter how complex it is. So yeah, it makes sense based on what you said.
Yeah, and for engineering, for example, like software engineering in particular, software engineering, I would say, closer than other industries to these AI tools, and of course they're exploring this right now. A lot of beautiful ideas appeared, like many people already started to use, or plugins to these software editors. And I would like to, I would say, explore more about less technological industries, right? Those who work, for example, for oil and gas, who work for some, I would say, manufacturing, right? So how they could be affected by such type of systems? What do you think?
I think what comes to my mind, are things like driverless trucks. So a lot of the logistics and operations within the manufacturing industry, this is where it could be a huge or a massive change. The only thing I think it will take so much time before that happens, though, because even if they do implement and add any kind of an AI agent that will help with mechanical engineering, or because I think robotics in manufacturing is not new; it's been there for a very long time. So I just imagine things will happen in terms of logistics more, and the documents and administrative tasks within those manufacturing companies. So before you used to have all the humans doing the manufacturing and the engineering work, and then you had the machines do that. Yet you have the humans executing the administrative work and the operational supportive tasks. So that's where I see it being valid. And so people will have more engaging work, meaningful work. They have skills and they can do other things instead of clicking a few buttons every day on the same machine. I guess that's what comes to my mind when you say other industries.
But let's say what will happen with people who was analyzing and comparing different numbers if right now the operation, which let's say we can bring an example of some other startups which we are working with, so who automate the documents. So before the processing of documents for many companies was like taken for hour or more and so on. Now it was reduced to 10 minutes. On a scale, so we can see this can affect the kind of distribution of tasks significantly, and these people they need to be repurposed for other kind of activities, or so these people would not be able to stay anymore, I would say, effective for bring business values for this particular business line.
I think they would just move to either different functions. So there are 2 or 3 different possibilities. One possibility is they can't keep up, and that was the only job they could do, and they will move into a completely different industry. The other one is they would be upskilled and supported within the company they're in, and they will be just either helping in terms of the data sets, training the data sets, reinforcement learning, ensuring that the models and the AI that is being used is constantly getting more accurate. Because I think the minute you strip out the human element out of these operations, the AI will slowly start to hallucinate and you will get inaccurate results. So you can't completely get rid of them. So they have to be part of the process. But at the same time, I think they would be moved to different functions where they're more needed in terms of human judgment and decision making that maybe machines can do. And right now, I think that the emotional intelligence aspect is not there yet with machines, and it's only a purely executionary role for them. That's what I think would happen to them. So they're probably in big organizations, they will be upskilled and move to different functions. And for small organizations, I think it's likely that they might lose their jobs here, and they will be forced to kind of adapt to a different either industry or a different type of work where their skill is still needed.
Yeah, I had interesting conversation with people from entertainment industry, like who work with musicians and the people who actually skilled to perform, and they expect it would be kind of segregation on the market, or like distribution of different segments. One segment will be like for people who respect the live performance, who respect live music and interaction with this type of I would say human touch, and another segment for people who just need to like any sort of entertainment on the go, or like during their physical activities or whatever else, and it will reshuffle, and people should adopt for this. For example, if you work in orchestra, probably this will remain the same, because this type of performance cannot be easily substituted with digital content. But if you produce some beats for musicians, highly likely this type of job will be taken by how to say digital creators.
Yeah, yeah, I think that makes sense. Maybe the elements that require more human performance, like you expect the person to be the one doing the work. And I think that's the whole point of orchestra, is that you see people bringing life to the music. Unlike maybe beats that can be generated and composed by a machine, where you don't necessarily look for who made these beats, and I want to know who's behind them, compared to an orchestra that you want to see who did this insane performance of the violin orchestration. That's very difficult to do. And I think people love seeing maybe a crowd where someone is commanding how these different instruments should sync. So it always comes to, I think, the human demand of what we're looking for. So in the creative space, I still think there's a much longer route for AI to do any kind of replacement, at least in my opinion. It's going to take so much more time compared to transactional tasks that no one really has maybe an emotional connection to. And especially, I think music has like this magical element to it that people will always be attached to it, and will have the human aspect connected to it. And that's very difficult to, what's the word? I guess it's just recreate or simulate.
What do you think about the some kind of hospitality industry, and in particular some sort of like whatever fine cuisine or whatever places which like right now exist? Would they be affected by such type of like robotic or digital advancements or not? What is your perception?
Interesting question. I think when it comes to this, I've seen there was a wave of these robots that would serve you food that you ordered. So at your table, you'd see like a robot walking with a tray and gives you the food. I personally I'm not a huge fan. I think especially with dining and hospitality, it's a human-centric function or industry. And maybe when it comes to things that you need inside the room versus when you are checking in and getting that hospitable experience, that's where the difference comes. In fact, I think there will be still a market for it, for the maybe automated things in hospitality. But regardless, I think it will not mean that everyone in hospitality will look for robots that will serve them. If that were the case, you'd have the robotics industry completely monopolize and saturate the restaurant business, which hasn't happened yet, because people like food that is cooked by humans, and I think that's been the case for a very long time, and it hasn't changed since. So I don't think it also, in terms of that industry, I don't see a huge shift. But even so the creative space in the hospitality industry, not much change will happen, but there will be a market for it, and there are some people that will need it for convenience, but it won't be the majority. It's the same with fast food. There's fast food today that you can order, but everyone knows, like, if you order fast food every day, you feel like your soul is drained and you feel kind of dead inside, and it doesn't feel as healthy and it doesn't feel as engaging, which is why most of the businesses today, they're not just fast food restaurants and chains. A lot of people, like, just earlier today, I was at a restaurant where I think there was very few robots doing the work. So yeah, I doubt that will happen anytime soon. What do you think?
I would join to your opinion, so I will share this opinion as well. So I felt this type of industries there, we interact with them like because of this human touch. So these robots, they may be useful in some environments where you have like fast moving I'd say environment or some fast moving like decision making. So this would be probably, I would say, well suitable. And for this, where you come for type of like kind of human interaction for socializing. I've been maybe in several places where robots were doing some sort of roles, like doing some orders like through the robotic menu, or doing some like kind of like good lamp interaction with a waiter. And I prefer definitely human things. Even right now, the places where like serving food with from iPads or from digital, it's maybe fun and it's convenient to them to maintain such type of menus, but like this old school paper touch, at least for my generation, it's still valuable. I would say people should find a balance probably between these two different approaches.
Right. Like, when was the last time you enjoyed a meal at a place that made you order through an iPad? And like, I don't know, it's just like it feels very dull.
Yes, and especially like it's not yeah. So you still ordering, the food may be perfect and a chef could be a professional, but the way it's kind of shrink down to this like digital screen which you are looking at like all your day. So you came to this place for different type of experience instead of the again to dealing with devices. And of course, like when people come for this experience, many of them, they turn their phones off and then trying to be kind of socialized rather than get another type of device for another type of activity. Yeah, that's true.
Exactly, and I feel the same way. But if you were to ask me, do I want?
Let's ask people who look in this program. So, what do you think about this type of experience? Drop your comments down below. So we will be happy to kind of collect this sentiment across our audience and then see like, are we alone who still love this paper things, or maybe iPads indeed the way to go further?
Yeah, maybe everyone disagrees. Maybe everyone wants to be served by a robot at the end of the day. Who knows?
Yep. And yeah, so let's move on with like kind of this topic investigation. So let's discuss a little bit more. Let's say like the high level segment, the managers and then people who is doing some type of coordination work. So right now we have basically we work with information, right? So we manage informational channels, and from point how efficient we can do this, how quick we can do this, it depends our result, our value. What do you think in this context? So who would be affected more? So would, for example, higher level managers get more advanced capabilities and reduce their like number of people who working for them, or this amount of people will remain, and some other let's say service providers or data providers will be affected, or business sectors who provide data will be affected, because this type of analytics could be done like in-house, and it doesn't require anymore to have some agency. Like, let's say, instead of having dedicated marketing agency, you can have like one in-house department with bespoke solutions which can do everything because of the automation on base of generative AI technologies.
I think with definitive analytics and data, it's likely to be just done internally with some kind of product that you can just integrate with your system, and you don't have to worry about a service provider. Especially with like things that have become very known and obvious to people, that you don't really need the company to tell you about maybe their resume screening or how to hire talent when it comes to maybe certain job scopes. But for example, analytics is just the same information is not going to change regardless of who is the person dealing with it. So if you have a product that can just process this set of data, why would you pay thousands of dollars to a company that claims to understand you better, when at the end of the day it's going to be one methodology or another for the analytics done? So I personally think, yeah, service-based or those companies providing services that are generic and can be done by machines, these guys are going to go away, especially the incompetent ones. If you have some like agencies like, oh, we do marketing analytics, yeah, so does, I don't know, a basic function in ChatGPT. So unless you're going to do a better job on average, then why would I hire you?
And this, like, for me, is a big question, right? Because so I'll tell you my personal experience, right? So
Sure.
Like last half of the year, like last 6 months, so it's quite often it's required to prepare some I'd say estimation of time and budget and so on and so forth, project plans before to bring like just to research about the market and industry and numbers. It was like half of the week just collect information and half of the week to process, to bring these numbers all together. Right now it reduced from like an average I would say 1.5 day. Like if something very, very complex, it will take maybe 3 days. So but let's even having this pessimistic plan, so performance doubled. So and of course the things, let's say for example, if you don't have some particular skills or like some particular knowledge, you can create an agent, you can create a digital assistant which will act as like, let's say marketing person or financial person and so on, and interact with them at least on a basic level. So of course maybe you wouldn't get this depth as you will get from the skilled person. So but the, let's say, junior level marketing employee or junior level financial advisor or product manager, it could be easily I'd say emulated or digitalized, and you have this very quickly. For companies, for small businesses who do not have this type of budget, you see how it will optimize their overall workflow. First of all, they don't need to look for these capabilities on the market, right? They, as a fact, they have this in-house department of different specialists who can handle these particular tasks. So and here I see the big advantage for those people who starting the business or like developing on early stage, because they don't have this legacy of these specialists who are already in their company. so they can start and see if they can handle these tasks in-house. They're fine. If they need some particular extra expertise or in-depth expertise, they will know what exact expertise they want to find on the market. They would be already educated, and easier to find the person for which will serve the purpose. So for big companies, I feel it much more difficult because you have a lot of people who already there. These companies were designed based on the technologies of previous generation, right? You cannot understand if they are still relevant for your company, for your business, or they getting outdated, and they need to be some kind of upskilled or reshuffled, or what to do with them if you have like business body with thousands of employees. And for those companies, it's biggest challenge, I feel. So they need to reinvent themselves on base of the new technologies, on base of the new platforms. And the tricky part is the chicken and egg situation. So people inside of the company, they not interested to bring the technologies which will replace them, but the owners of company, they interested to increase performance of their team, and how to kind of find a balance, how to make this promise which will be how say properly received by like all levels. That's kind of tricky question which need to be answered for many of enterprises.
That's true. I think that's where, like, if you're a business owner and you have employees, instead of just purely thinking, how can I replace you with a better machine, or how can I replace you with someone who's more productive, just think about what is the revenue that this employee is bringing us. So when I hire these people, I don't care what technology they're using. If every time I hire person X, a revenue Y will come in, I am happy with this kind of arrangement. So I think having transparency with your employees, or letting them know, like, hey, if you want to use ChatGPT or you want to use some AI agent to get the work done, be my guest. As long as you're contributing to the company and there is value to you, it's going to be difficult to see you as redundant or not as productive. So it's like making that entire conversation about AI agents transparent, and seeing how maybe even incentivize productivity. So it's the same with how people used to look at people who are lazy but smart and can get something done in a short amount of time, and the other way around. So again, it's just how much revenue can you bring in as an employee to the company, and how can we repeat that with other employees with AI or not?
And this leads us for another challenge, another tricky question. So what is the role of company to as enabler of these productive tools for employees? Because what we have right now, we have like publicly available, let's say, ChatGPT. Most of the people using ChatGPT, and recently I've seen statistics. So majority of big companies, they still on ChatGPT services, despite of the having more, how to say, not more capable, but another flavors on the market which could be more beneficial for companies. Let's put this way. And people and employees, they interact whatever company offer it to them as a tool set. Right? If you have ChatGPT, you would be in these boundaries. If you have some broader ecosystem, you can be in this. And for companies who accept, like, say, the policies of data privacy and so on, which cloud services offer, that's one direction. For companies who is more conservative, another direction, and they need to also establish at least base infrastructure, base environment where people can start explore and understand what kind of functionality they can enhance or build on top of these generative AI solutions. And without this, it's like hard to expect from employees some breakthroughs if you didn't kind of prepare this this ground.
How much of these things can be just sandboxed? Like, is it even expensive to just have a sandbox environment where you don't have to worry about the data and all that privacy stuff?
But you see, for this sandbox environment, it should be some comprehensive. It's not a one tool. It's not ChatGPT. We cannot pinpoint the one tool. It's just like a toolbox, right? So you have different tools for purpose. If you're a marketing person, you need image generation. You need maybe some copywriting tools. You need something, and all together will give you some sort of the confidence or some sort of the how to say, understanding how to bring all these pieces of puzzle together to get the end value. Even for now, what I see assembling these pipelines and the different solutions. So that's always kind of combination of different systems, different points, which if they turn it together properly, they get like extremely valuable. They can track your social networks. They can answer in your emails. They can help with summarization of some big amounts of text or preparing these documents for different type of use cases. Yes, but once they're kind of not reachable to each other, once they're kind of atomic or not exist at all, so what kind of value I can extract with ChatGPT? For example, with I see a lot of images generated by AI, and most of the people I can even say which system generated this image, because you can distinguish this, like, let's say, ugly DALL-E based whatever structures. When you work with professional services or professional image generation tools, so
it's hard to distinguish. Like, that's where you
it's like artists made these things done. So the same as we are using on our platform, right? So it's purely different experience. And when these type of kind of capabilities not exposed well to the market, so for decision makers also difficult to understand where to invest. Like we this AI enablement for our company. So what does it mean? So what we are bringing together or separately, or we need to buy services from third parties? That's
a great point, because if there were such a platform that can make it really easy for any corporation to just click a few buttons and you create an entire environment for every employee that they can say anything on it, play around with it. And it's not just Gemini, GPT. It could be a collection of models, and it's just easy to integrate. So you sign up with this product makes it easy to integrate with your current ERP, whatever CRM systems use, and voila, now you have an entire safe environment for your own company. Nothing to worry about. Obviously these things exist, but I just think right now it's still very service based. You have to have a whole company set it up for you, rather than click done, now you have a sandbox safe environment done.
Yeah, they exist as I would say as technologies. They not exist as solutions. They not exist as let's think about this tech as a new member of your team, right? So let's say you need digital artist, or you need musician, or you need copywriter, or someone else, all together, right? So somebody who will care about your strategies. So if we think about don't think about models and technologies, but we think about functions. So from this point, it makes sense. We recently even had a short conversation with technical friends. So regarding the capability to bring and kind of all models or custom digital assets together to run them and manage them in one single place. So even this on technological level, no such kind of vision. I don't say it's not exist. It's doable, but so even people who is in this kind of industry, they cannot control and manage and track all possible solutions which appear in on weekly, monthly, whatever basis. So
Right.
and of course for corporates who is not a professional in this industry, it is like much way more difficult.
Exactly.
That's why, so we, for example, trying to, like when we talk to people, trying to bring the how to say, importance of making this baseline of AI services enabled for the company, and then built on top of it when different departments, different kind of groups can experiment, can see what they can do, what they cannot do, and then see if it could be done based on these technological capabilities, or it's not doable
Right.
at all, and system is just like not for purpose, cannot serve the particular task.
One nice idea to daydream about is, imagine you had something like LangChain, where you have all those models with different use cases, and you make a product that basically takes models from LangChain, these things that are open source, usable by anyone, and you just quickly add it, like drag and drop, create your own application, no matter how general it is or specific for the department. And now you have a subdomain that is taking all these models, and it's under your own corporation. So for example, let's say you work at, I don't know, company that makes not very, let's say they're not even very technologically advanced, like you said. And yeah, they want to have their employees use these things in a very safe way. Deploy this entire solution on their subdomain. Now they have like their own, not even GPT, just multiple models. You can always select drag and drop and change it. Let's say you have an admin that configures which models are being used. Let's say today we tried Model A kind of sucked, and the admin changed it from Model A to Model B. So there's always this kind of testing environment for your employees to play around with, just from LangChain all the way to your domain.
Yeah, but here, so one, I quite often think about this, right? So, is it a right way to expose this type of abstraction as models to end users? So how they can learn and understand the capabilities of this model? Literally today we had experiment with like asking the model who killed Laura Palmer, and like depends on like different setups, different models, and different prompts how it was done. Answers were different from absolutely like irrelevant to some kind of like trustworthy. And for me, right now this situation looks next way. So we have model, it's like engine, right? And to understand what kind of car would be built, so what kind of vehicle would be created on top of this engine, we need to add another components. First of all is model like system prompt, or how we configure model. Should it be let's say financial advisor or medical advisor, or maybe some entertainment like stand-up comic or whoever else. That's the one part, like the profile of this advisor. Then another part is data available for this model, which model can refer and interact, the knowledge base. And the third one is user context or situation awareness, what kind of situation we have. So if these three parts could be turned together, that's like one version of assistant, one version of this decision maker. Model alone without any configuration is like, imagine like engine from, we extracted engine from the car and given to users. Like, of course they can figure out how to build something, but as far as it's not how to say as far as they don't have like proper skills to handle and manage this, they will be getting these generic images, generic answers in like generated created by ChatGPT or whatever else.
Okay, interesting. I have a question for you about this. So, is there a way right now where people can, let's say, company deploys a very generic model, and it's kind of like shadowing all the employees' work, and it kind of learns from the tasks they're doing, the repetitive ones, and the outputs they end up getting. So the employee does the work they do manually, and they get the output that they desired manually as well. But the model is kind of like just observing. And over a period of time, that generic model becomes very domain specific, becomes department specific, becomes contextually aware. And then you can redeploy this model again as if it's the assistant.
Yeah, and you're right. You're right. So I feel it's very promising direction. So I would make a remark. So you don't even need to redeploy model. Model will remain the same. So with proper settings, with proper like system configuration, you will get already more focused and I would say directed answers. So of course, if we can leverage data from the past, prepare this, like cook the proper way, and train and adjust model. So you have basically the some digitalized version of human experience. I'm not talking about the digitalized version of human because our how to say knowledge and the different aspects of our life quite broad, but some particular aspect, of course, it could be digitalized. This week we were together in one conversation on LinkedIn, right? So where people also were thinking about what would be future of AI and technologies, and one of the speakers, he suggested some direction when Web3 and NFT would take place in this generative AI, I would say hype or not hype, but let's call this life cycle. And I feel if such type of models as you described, which contains like essential knowledge of some particular employees, could be turned with help of blockchain technologies in some NFT tokens, that's real value from this Web3 application. So Web3 will ensure authenticity of this knowledge and this model, and other people will be able to use it or subscribe it or deploy it on their sites, and benefit from having such type of kind of footprint from bright thinkers, which will help with their business, with their tasks. I would be happy if our audience will share their perspective, like on what do they think about the future of technologies and impact on of humanity, and this particular case with digitalization of human experience and getting some revenue from this. Oh,
yeah, absolutely. And let's end it with a quick summary of top 3 jobs that will disappear and top 3 jobs that will stay.
Let's do mine and yours. So let's and then
Sure.
We'll see. So I would say the most sustainable jobs related to agricultural sector, hospitality sector, and the artists who perform, who doing like actual performance on a stage. So and jobs which will feel a pressure. Of course, these jobs who was in different informational chains, depends on if it was like mechanical manipulations of numbers and information. These jobs would be definitely affected. I feel the musicians and the designers who was involved in some type of the how to say mass production of different artifacts also would be affected. And the software development definitely will feel some, let's say, like different reshaping for the purpose and different
like redefinition of the job scope itself. Makes sense. I completely agree. For me, top three that will stay will be psychologists. I think if anything, these guys will be on the rise. Therapists, counselors, psychologists, psychiatrists. So these guys will stay. The second one will be performative artists. People just love seeing humans perform, and I think that will definitely not go away anytime soon. And lastly, the hospitality business. So especially, honestly, F&B. F&B, I can't see them, whether you're talking about waiters or you're talking about cooks, not going away anytime soon. Even if they may seem transactional on the surface. I think the three that will go away, junior software developers, people copying code, copy-pasting code, writing basic configurations. Specifically that, not the problem-solving aspect, but just transactional code. I think the other one that will go away is drivers. I think with time, this is going to decline with driverless cars, trucks, trains, maybe planes at some point. That might happen at 100% level. And lastly, what I think will also disappear is, I had a third one in mind. I can't remember it, but I think I'll stick with two for now. Oh, I remembered data entry. That's going away with better OCR and better like models that understand speech, like speech to text, and with better models that can extract handwriting, let's say handwritten notes. I mean, these are only getting more and more accurate at like 95, 96, 97% accuracy rate, which is better than and can outperform human performance when it comes to handwritten notes. Yeah, this would be my takeaway for the top three jobs that will stay, top three jobs that will go away, or we can say goodbye to.
Yep.
I could be wrong, but let me know what you guys think.
Yes, and that so we will be happy to see your top three outperformers and potential, how to say, outsiders. So drop comments and join for next episode next week.
Absolutely. Who knows? We might be having some guests soon. So really excited and looking forward to it.